On a freezing morning in 1943, the small train station of Ashford was filled with the sound of steam engines, soldiers' footsteps, and the quiet breaking of hearts. Anna Whitmore stood among the crowd, clutching the sleeve of the man she loved, Thomas Hale. Just a few days earlier, the war had still felt distant, something that existed only in newspapers and on the radio. But now, it was taking him away from her. Around them, mothers cried quietly, children waved small flags, and young men tried to look braver than the fear inside them. Thomas reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small silver pocket watch. It was old, scratched, and clearly something he had carried for many years. "This belonged to my father," he said softly. He placed the watch into Anna's trembling hands. "Keep it for me." Anna looked up at him. "And when the war ends?" she asked. Thomas smiled, the kind of smile people wear when they are trying to hide their fear. "I'll come back for it." The train whistle screamed across the platform. Thomas leaned down and kissed her forehead, quickly, as if holding on for even 1 second longer would make it impossible for him to leave. Then he stepped onto the train. Anna stood there until the train disappeared beyond the tracks. When she opened her hand again, the watch was still ticking. Before the war, their lives had been simple and peaceful, almost perfect. Thomas worked at a small mechanic shop in town. Anna worked at the bookstore on Maple Street. They met one quiet afternoon when Thomas walked into the shop and asked for a book whose title he completely mispronounced. Anna laughed and corrected him. From that day on, Thomas kept finding excuses to come back. Soon it became a routine. Every Saturday afternoon, Thomas walked Anna home. Every Sunday, they sat by the river outside town and talked about the future. A small house, a garden, and a dog that Anna insisted would be named Oliver. Thomas often joked that there were only 2 things certain in life. The sun would rise every morning, and one day he would marry Anna. But then the war came, and suddenly, the future felt very far away. The early stage of the war, the letters arrived regularly. Thomas wrote about muddy camps, long marches, and the strange silence that always came before a battle. But he never ended a letter without repeating the same promise. "I will come back." Anna read every letter over and over again. She tied them together with a blue ribbon and kept them in the drawer beside her bed. At night, when the town had fallen asleep, she would open the drawer just to hear the faint ticking of the pocket watch. Proof that time and hope were still moving forward. Then one winter day, the letters suddenly stopped. At first, Anna told herself it was just the chaos of war. Mail was always delayed. Soldiers were constantly moving between locations. But 1 week passed, then another, then months. And one day, a final letter arrived. But it was not from Thomas. It was from the army. The words were short, formal, cold. In the letter, they said Thomas had been missing in action. Anna felt as if the entire world had collapsed. Everyone around her tried to comfort her when they heard the news. Some said he might still be alive. Others gently suggested it might be time for her to move on. But Anna couldn't, because the watch never stopped ticking. And deep inside her heart, something refused to believe that his story had ended that way. 10 years passed. The war ended. The world moved forward. Ashford slowly returned to its normal life. New shops opened. Children grew up. Soldiers came home. Anna still worked at the bookstore. Her hair was a little longer now, her smile a little quieter. From time to time, someone would ask why she had never married. Anna would simply smile softly. Then that night, she would go home, open the drawer beside her bed, and listen to the ticking in the darkness. 10 years, 3,650 days, and she had never stopped waiting. What Anna never knew was that Thomas had survived. During a battle in 1944, his unit had been captured. He spent years in a prisoner of war camp. When the war ended, many soldiers were released immediately, but some were forgotten in distant camps. Thomas was one of them. By the time he was finally able to return, the world had already changed. The letters he had written never reached their destination, and after so many years, he believed Anna must have built a new life. So he never wrote again, because he thought she deserved peace more than being pulled back into the past. One autumn afternoon, nearly 10 years after the war, the town of Ashford held a ceremony to welcome returning veterans. Anna attended only because her mother insisted. She stood quietly at the back of the crowd as names were read aloud. Most of the names meant nothing to her, until one name made her heart stop: Thomas Hale. She thought she must have heard it wrong, but the announcer repeated it again. The crowd shifted slightly. A man stepped forward, older, thinner, but unmistakably him. For a moment, neither of them moved. 10 years of silence hung in the air between them. Thomas spoke first. "I thought you had forgotten me." Anna slowly shook her head. "I thought you were gone." Neither of them knew what to say next. So Anna reached into her bag and placed the silver pocket watch into his hand. It was still ticking. Thomas stared at it in disbelief. "You kept it?" he whispered. Anna smiled through tears of happiness. "I was waiting for you to come back for it." The war had taken 10 years from them. 10 years of letters that never arrived. 10 years of unanswered questions. 10 years of believing they had lost each other forever. But as they stood together under the soft afternoon sunlight, they both realized something extraordinary. Time can change many things, but some promises never disappear. Some stories simply wait for the right moment to continue. And for Anna and Thomas, after 10 long years, the future had finally returned. Because sometimes, the greatest victory in life is simply finding your way back to the person you never stopped loving.